Or we had 100-degree weather yeah, all last week, but this week it's sort of pleasant.
Good.
In fact, we're cooler than you are.
Yeah, we're supposed to have in the 90s today. Nancy, I see that Bridget is recording this for you.
Yes, I appreciate that. And I'm just going to say, for example, when we have a staff meeting at Webster, if people have all different kinds of schedules, our director always records it, and then she sends it to everyone. And that way, whoever missed can look at it. If you've already seen it, you just discard it. So I find that a good method.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I wouldn't know how to do that. Hi, Bridget. Margaret.
A reminder to unmute themselves at first here, because I think it defaults to mute. And then
Okay. There's Margaret. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi there,
Then-
gang. So
and
glad
then
to see you all.
when the speaker comes, then we'll want to mute.
Right, exactly.
Thank you.
I see Agent Boutron his audio is working on connecting. So he'll be here soon as the audio connects. And I was just gonna check, can I do my, whenever y'all are ready, I'll do a screen share because I have their like PowerPoint presentation and he can kind of talk through that.
Great. Well,
Making sure.
how about if your dad opens this up with prayer when everybody gets there, and then he'll introduce you and you can go from there. How's that?
Sounds great.
Okay. All right. I know that Mr. Bertrand has been trying to get on because I've been in front of my computer for about an hour and doing other things. Hello, Bridget. And so I keep seeing him coming in and going out. So he's been checking us out. So
I think he's in now, so we should be good.
good. Good.
Yeah.
Bridget, I'm picking up my cheese enchiladas today.
Good job.
Which store do I go to?
I think they just got them downstairs. So either come in the front door or go to the side kitchen door, one of those.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Bertrand. How are you?
Good. How's everybody? Good morning.
Fine.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to our
Morning.
meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Why is everyone so quiet?
What time is it where you are?
It's 9 o'clock.
Okay, so you're just an hour different from us.
Oh, okay. You guys are in Missouri, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Central Standard Time.
Yes.
Central Standard.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'd say Chicago, but we're all Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
We're Chiefs fans. So
Chiefs.
Hi, Caroline.
I'm a Texans fan, so yeah, all my team is gone now.
Well, we invite you to St. Joseph for the training camp for the Chiefs is here
Wow.
in St. Joe. Yeah.
Well, I'll take that invite.
And if you talk to Kari, I think she's got a place where you can get a place to stay.
Oh,
She'll probably give up the room we save her, and then you can do it. And we're just a few blocks away.
wow. I'll be
Yeah.
waiting for that email, Kari.
Yeah, right. If you need to see green, that's where you go at this point.
I
Right.
love seeing too
Right.
much dirt.
Our football players are very outgoing and very fan oriented. You know, they like to see. We have lots of Chiefs fans.
Well, I'll be wearing my Texans jersey though.
Oh, okay.
They'll let you in.
Just watch out a little.
Yeah, we can't guarantee that they'll be nice to you in that instance.
Right? Let me see.
Um,
What is this?
Let's see what time it is. Maybe we'll go ahead and start. If everybody would please unmute yourself now, and then when Kari starts her presentation and introduces our speaker, then we will mute ourselves until the question answer period. Okay. So Cheryl, hi Cheryl.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fine. How are you doing?
Okay.
Good. Good. Okay. Roger, you want to begin? Open us up with prayer?
I sure will. Let's pray. Our gracious God, we give you thanks for the gift of this day. Each day you bring to us anew. And we thank you for the lives you've given to us, the skills, the people that you have surrounded us with through our years, and those who have nurtured and cared for us and guided us. And for that, we give you thanks each and every day. We also give thanks for those today who we talk about, for who seek to be those who would be guides along the way to care for and nurture. And in a world in which we have, which has many directions and channels and ways to go, we give you thanks for the work of those who are able to guide others through this process. We thank you today for Agent Boutron and the work that he does and for his agency. And we ask God that you would just support him, encourage him, and use him each and every day in the work that he does and those of his colleagues. We ask that you today, God, open our hearts and our minds and guide us into wisdom and understanding. In your name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Glad to see you all, or at least most of you I can see. Okay, so we'll mute ourselves. Kari, it's your turn.
Great. So I'm just going to do my screen share, and then Agent Boutron, it's up to you. Oops, I just need whoever is the host to enable screen sharing for me.
It's done.
Oh, okay. That should be it.
Awesome. Okay, so I won't share my screen. You have it up, Kari. So good morning, everybody. I am Agent Boutron. I'm a 13-year agent here in the El Paso sector. Kari, I think I have someone that I want to introduce that you know and you've worked with before. So hold on one second, guys. He is back.
I don't know if you remember me, guys. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think Carrie does. So I am helping Mr. Boutron, and hopefully I get this full time again, but different station. So I'll be back if you guys ever need me. Okay.
So during the Q&A, we'll tag team it. So.
Okay.
Look, Carrie. Okay, so we could go up, Carrie, on the slideshow here, the presentation. All right, here we go. We got Officer Border Patrol. You want to click on the United States map there, Carrie? Okay, so we have 19 sectors throughout the whole United States. You guys are here in Missouri. I'm so used to using my mouse. You guys are in Missouri, so you're in the Grand Forks sector. Yeah, there you guys are right there. So you're in the Grand Forks sector for the Border Patrol. We're in El Paso sector, which is right there by Texas at the end of the tip, right there. That's El Paso sector. So my border is totally different from your border. As you guys, we border Mexico, and you guys are more, as you guys in Grand Forks, you really conduct between both of us because the main highway from the drug trafficking coming from Mexico and from Canada. So you guys are in between. So yes, there's 19 sectors. You're in Grand Forks. We have different weather than you guys do. We're very hot. We're not humid. We're very hot. Almost in El Paso itself, we have basically every single season. Windy, rain, snow, and most of the time it's very hot here. Like right now it's 102. It's going to be 105 degrees today. So for the agents out in the field, bless them. We got to hydrate. That's one of our main concerns for our sector is hydration, because of the heat. And then that concern also goes to the migrants that are coming across into our sector. So a lot of our EMTs and a lot of our agents have water in their units for that reason. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. All right, if you guys seen these before, these are international boundary markers. Some are pretty big, just like that. As you can see, a scale from the gentleman here taking a photo. Some are actually pretty small. I'm only 5'8", and some are like right up to my chest, and then some are like this tall. See, these are our boundary markers posted throughout the United States on the border areas. Grand Forks, I believe, won't have them since you're not really close to Grand Forks. Sorry, guys. In Missouri, you won't really have them because you're not really close to the border. But if you go up to Canada and into those areas or down south, you'll have these throughout the border. That basically gives anyone who's in the area an idea that, okay, on this side of the monument is United States, and if you go on the other side of the monument, there's another insignia, like information, but in the language. So for us being in the South, it'll be in the Mexican language. It'll be written in the Mexican language. So it'll be like, that's when you know you're in Mexico. So those are they're pretty much laid out throughout the whole border, northern and southern borders. We'll go to the next one. So every Border Patrol station, the majority of them, especially like the station I'm in right now, El Paso station, will have a bike patrol unit. The bike patrol unit is utilized to mostly in the rural areas, in the city, because how fast they could get to like an event or incursion, especially when we have migrants running away from us in downtown. You've seen even your local PD will have bike patrol units depending on where you're at, and that's what they're used for, so that they don't have a big footprint when like say you're running a vehicle trying to chase people, migrants that came in, and then you have all this traffic, and then accidents can occur, injuries may occur, and the bike patrol units is a lighter footprint in that sense, so that those accidents won't happen, and no injuries can happen to the civilians out in the streets. So these guys are utilized in El Paso Station, Santa Teresa Station, Isleta Station, I think Fabens as well. But they are an essential unit for most of the stations. I know California is really big on them, especially during the beach areas. But for El Paso Station, we have a big bike patrol presence in the El Paso sector. Next slide, please. So the umbrella of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, we have three agencies: Air and Marine, which are the eyes in the sky. There are angels above us. We have Border Patrol, number one, the guys in green. I'm wearing black right now. And then we have Customs and Border Protection, the guys in blue. They're the ones usually at the airports or at the ports of entry. So yes, we have Air Marine. They're in tan, and as you could tell in these helicopters, if you guys are prior military or not, these helicopters have some visual equipment that is amazing. They could see migrants crossing with weapons, drugs, and they relay information to us, to the agents on the ground, so that we know how to approach these subjects safely. So that's why I call them angels in the sky, because they're always overwatching us. So the next slide. Now we have ATVs. ATVs is utilized in every sector. Like for me, I drove ATVs leisurely, but when you get into the Border Patrol, just because you've driven ATVs before getting into the Border Patrol doesn't mean you can drive ATVs. You have to be trained to do it the Border Patrol way. So it's a really good training. It's very hard. You can get injured fairly easily, but once you get into ATV certified within the Border Patrol, it's a national certification. So that means if I go to Grand Forks sector, I'm ATV certified, I could ride ATVs there. So because it's the same, since I said it's a national certification, it's taught the same way at different sectors. Of course, your topography or the way your land is over there, you have to do a refresher because again, El Paso, we have more dirt and duney areas, and over there in Grand Forks, of course, you're going to be more greener. You're going to have more forest, so it's a different type of riding experience. So if I go up to Grand Forks, I would have to train again for maybe about a week and learn the AOR, area of responsibility, so that I can efficiently ride an ATV and deter or apprehend. The next slide. All right, since 1924, Border Patrol utilizes horses. We were mounted patrolmen at that time. We weren't officially Border Patrol. We were called mounted patrolmen. And horses are still being used today. They are a great tool and for us. Another thing with they set a light footprint, especially especially if we're hiking through private property. We're hiking through using them through the mountains, and horses are very intelligent creatures. They are agents as well for us. So we treat them. They get retired too, but you guys all know horses are very intelligent, and we use them for that light footprint as well. Like I said, with the bike patrol units, the same concept. If we go into an area like a private property for a rancher, and they have specific what is it I'm trying to say? Like they say we don't want ATVs or units in here, but we're fine with horses or you tracking. We'll use that. So we have to keep a very good relationship with our ranchers and our private landowners, and so that's why we still utilize horses to this day. Next slide. We have canines. Canines are usually posted. We have German Shepherds, the Malinois are usually posted at checkpoints. We also go alongside with other agencies. Just if say a local smaller police unit doesn't have canines, they call us. Our canines are trained to sniff all narcotics, a bulk cash, and humans. And some, depending on the unit, we'll talk about units later, are bite and cadaver searching canines as well. But the most of that you see out at the checkpoints or in the airports are looking for bulk cash, humans being smuggled in, and narcotics. And we're very, that's fine. Go to the next slide. So what do you guys think this agent here is doing? You could chime in on this question. Anybody? Mr. There's Roger. He's going to say something.
Is he just looking for footprints?
There you go. Ding, ding, ding. So one of the things that the Border Patrol is very great at doing is what we call sign cutting. A lot of the times, other agencies, federal or local, will ask us to find people, especially in El Paso, find people in the desert, either that absconded from them because they're chasing them, because they have prior felonies and they run into the desert, or like for the fire department or PD, they get a call that someone is lost in the desert and the mountain, and then they call Border Patrol. Because we learn this skill of sign cutting, looking for footprints. We see the little things that change, and we can kind of tell what is old sign, what is new sign. When I say sign, that's all the footprints that you leave behind, especially in the dirt or in sand, or even when you're passing through brush, grass. You could tell, like if you really pay attention to the detail, when you have people coming through like a grassy area, what happens to the grass? It goes lower, and then you have like grass, or you have that path, and it marks it, and it's that simple. But a lot of people don't pay attention to those little details, especially in the sand and in the dirt. you start seeing, okay, this is older sign because you have insects or snakes that go through it, and then you think differently when you're cutting sign. Like for this right here, this is kind of like a picture of my old AOR in Santa Teresa. We have a lot of dirt area, a lot of sandy areas. We're constantly cutting for that sign. In my new station, El Paso station, what agents look for here is what they call wet sign, because they have to go through their American Canal, and they're, if there's water there, their feet are going to be wet. They're going to bring mud, and it's really fast because you see the mud, you track the wet sign, and once the wet sign dissipates, because it's hot here, then you're in trouble. So here at El Paso, it has to be a very fast interdiction. So it's different at different sectors. And like Grand Forks, again, it's very foresty, very green. Grand Forks sector, most of the states, like you guys said, and St. Joseph's, that you guys in Missouri is very green there. So we'll be looking for that dew in the grass and those grass detents for that type of sign. Next slide. Border Patrol is very into technology. The technology helps the agents do our job safe and effectively. This unit here that you're looking, I used to be an operator for this, is the MSS or MSC. That green, I wish I had the green unit on top, that's a radar head. So that one. That's a radar head. That radar head fans just like the air control towers. They fan left to right or 360 up to a 5-mile radius, effective radius. These cameras could look up to 10 miles in. You have a night and a day cam. Of course, the night camera is going to be a lot crisper, even utilized during the day. But this radar head that rotates depending on how the agent or operator is utilizing it, can detect animal, vehicle, and people traffic. It's very, very great technology. It helps us a lot. As a prior operator, depending on the area that I was working, and of course we get intelligence and saying this is an area to where there's a high amount of traffic coming through. We adjust the radar head so that it only moves in that certain area. So this technology is very mobile. It helps us agents do our job effectively and safely. So that's why we use technology. The next slide. This right here, what do you think this is, Roger? You started asking questions. I wanna ask on you. What do you think that is?
Is it a ground sensor?
Man, you know my job too well.
Yeah.
Well, yes, this is a ground sensor. And then the one right here, the one with the pink, it's like a look black tube. That's an IR sensor. Yeah, there you go. We have different types of ground sensors, magnetic and seismic. We have IR sensors, and we even have game cams connected to our dispatch area. So and that's recently new technology for us. And though there are dispatch, what we call the LICAs or 880, that's our code here in El Paso. They will call agents out. Okay, we have say a sensor. I'm going to make up a number, 3310.1. We have camera image 5 bodies, and then we'll verify because just El Paso, there's a lot of hiking everywhere. There's a lot of people that go out and hike the mountain or walk trails, and these sensors or these cameras are everywhere. So we have to we get descriptions of what they're wearing, what they look like, and we have to go talk to them. Most of the time, it is good traffic, but sometimes it is just local traffic. So and then again, these cameras that are shown will also help us determine how we approach that area, because one, it'll show firearms if they're carrying any long arms, or if they're carrying narcotics, which helps us because when these groups are carrying narcotics, most likely they are armed. So then we know how to approach when we have to interdict in a safe manner. And okay, now we have the fencing. This is the old mesh fence. If we go to the next slide, this is more of the new bollard style fencing. It's the 17 or 15-foot fencing. This picture doesn't have the 30-foot wall or fence or bollard style fencing. And then the next slide. This is a Normandy style. This style here is completely gone. They use this in my old station, my old AOR Santa Teresa, out west, all the way going through Deming, all the way through California. This was basically to stop or slow down the vehicle incursions that we would have on a daily basis. And the vehicle incursions will either have narcotics or bulk smuggling of humans. And but it was effective to give us time to respond. But go back to the last slide, please. This here, this is a very effective tool for us because one, the vehicles, as you can clearly see, they can't go over it as easy. They could go through it, but it takes a lot of time. But really what this is for is so that as agents, we can see through the beams as like the mesh one. Go back to the other. That mesh was nice, but when we're driving through at a different rate of speed, depending on how you know how to get to an area, you wouldn't be able to see through the mesh as clearly. Because yeah, exactly. There you go. Because it gets dark and you can't see if someone is in there, or even with the cameras, it's very hard to look through and see if there's if people are staging or not. That's why go to the next second slide. That's why when they started building these types of bollard fencing, they got the input of the agents because we needed that. We need to be able to see when we're driving through for officer safety reasons, and still be able to, because when people like the people in the South, the bad guys that are throwing rocks, the smugglers that are throwing rocks at us, they really, unless they're awesome pitchers, they won't be able to get through that bollard wall just as easy. So it's also a deterrent for them, and it actually protects us and our vehicles that we get thrown rocks at most of the time. On the top, you have the anti-walk, anti-climb fencing style. It's more of a flat panel. There you go. But with everything and anything, what this is really built for is for our safety and to give us more time to interdict or even respond to the area. But with this comes different challenges. They're still going to want to come over. So then that comes people jumping down. What happens then? People get hurt. And as Border Patrol, we know this happens. That's why we have EMTs and paramedics on duty 24/7, 365. We've seen a lot more injuries, but again, we're an agency. We're a humanitarian agency. We go there, we help them, we take them to the hospital. And these smugglers do not care about who they throw over when they climb over, but we do. So we have we send PSA announcements as public service to Mexico, tell them, do not do this. This is how you're going to get hurt. Even on the next slides, go over. Oh, sorry. I was going to talk about the canals, but yes, we send PSAs out to Mexico, tell them, things like that. You guys, if you do this, you will get hurt, but but as an agency, we're there to help them. With an agency, every agency has a specialty unit. This is our BORTAC. They're like our SWAT. They train overseas. We have two types of BORTAC. We have a local and an international, SOD and SOG. They're usually around when we have dignitaries that come through, the president, vice president, any congressmen or senators. They'll be put with their Secret Service teams. These guys do a lot of warrant calls with local sheriffs and PD. And you guys have BORTAC in Grand Forks. At every station has a BORTAC response team. And again, we have an international one. What they do is they train people on how to protect, I guess, a border in a way. I have a couple friends in BORTAC that have gone overseas they'll be like, yeah, we train on how to cut sign and how to man a checkpoint. They do that type of training for other someone chimed in, for other military overseas or whatnot. Then we have also the next slide, our BORSTAR. They're our search, trauma, and rescue unit. These guys do a lot of river rescues, ocean rescues, depending like California or you guys in Grand Forks, you guys have rivers and streams. They'll do a lot of, there are a lot of boat commanders, most of them are. They have different types of skill sets than the BORTACers. Most of these are paramedics, so they have a higher level of training when they're dealing with people that get dehydrated, especially out here in the El Paso area. Like I said, there's a lot of heat, and people get lost in the desert. And BORSTAR goes out and does aerial rescues, and like you see here. So these guys are specialty units for search and rescue. Next slide. Now here, this is what I called about the American Canal. Like in El Paso station, the station I'm in, and the station that Mr. Agent Quintero's in as well. We have a lot of agents here that are certified in swift water rescue. Like you guys know, all the streams and different things in Missouri, the water looks nice and clear, calm on top, but it's rushing through at the bottom. And that's the same concept with the American Canal. And this is what I was saying. We do public service announcements to Mexico telling the citizens to please do not cross here, because of the fact that if they're not strong swimmers, they will get swept away. And as you could tell in the photo, I don't know, you can see this agent, his arm is flexing because of the water. It's not that high. As you can tell, the agent behind him is standing up, but you see his arm is flexing because the river is pulling him away. So imagine he's strapped in, as you can tell, with a carabiner and all this other stuff. So imagine when people go through that are not strong swimmers, and they with kids, and this is what worries me every day as an agent, but is that they get swept away because of the strong currents. But we have agents in El Paso Station, tactically positioned in different areas throughout the American Canal with rescue equipment, that being a throw bag, that being rings, also flotation devices, that if we can't get to an interdiction point in time, we are able to throw something really quick. And then we have agents, and like I said, in other areas that we know that they're going to be flowing through, and they'll start posting up in the rungs and throwing lines across so that the migrants can catch it. And the reason this being is because, again, we're a humanitarian agency, that we don't want them to perish on us. We really want them to be okay. So that's why we have in our AOR specifically how we post our agents in X's, as we call it. Next slide. All right, we got checkpoints. These checkpoints are to interdict anything that passes us. Like with every agency, we can't catch it all, but we have checkpoints throughout east and west of us, and even northern areas where they're going to take I-10 or different access roads with their narcotics or the smuggled people, or not the money as much. Money mostly goes back south, but sometimes they need to take money to a point of contact. And that's why we have agents posted at different checkpoints. And most of the time you'll see a checkpoint like this, you can have canine there. And that's to find all those three things. Thanks. But Border Patrol is not just about catching detainees, catching drugs, catching money. We're a very public service group here. We have a Hugs Not Walls event every year. I know this last year, just because of COVID, we didn't do it, but we're opening it up again. You can go to the next slide. And this is like this is right here is in Santa Teresa. That's the Cristo Rey area. This is Anacra. And this event, well, this is an old picture, but this event, we do a binational mass. We don't host it, but El Paso Diocese hosts it, and they come together with Mexico. They have a binational mass. They do a Hugs Not Walls event where people in El Paso, they have family in Mexico that is still pending, the visas and everything else, or they just can't come through. We open the wall, we open the border because there's doors now. There's doors here too, but it was a different type of door. But we would open the border and we would work with Mexican Federale Police and of course Border Patrol, and we would have the families come together, hugs, do the prayers, talk to each other and exchange gifts. So we're not just, oh, you guys can't come. No, we're not. We're not like that whatsoever. There's always a way of doing things, and we just want it to be done right. But we do things like this for the community, and actually, it's gonna start. What's today? We're gonna actually host it again. ETA tentative date on the 20th of this month, but since we're opening up, the chief did the blessings. Like, yes, we're gonna have a Hugs Not Walls event and a border mass. So hopefully we'll get some good images and we'll be able to update this so you guys can see it. Next slide. We haven't done this again because of the COVID, but we're doing this virtually. We have pride units. They go to hospitals and they go to schools and they teach the kids about what Border Patrol does. We have a couple of robots. This is the older robot, but we do have robots. It takes two agents. So one agent is the voice of the robot and the other one's asking it questions. It's pretty cool. The kids love it. My daughters, when I took the robots to the school, they were on cloud nine because I was talking to the robot, and my friend and my colleague, Agent Quintero, because we worked at headquarters, we did the presentation and it was awesome. Kids love the robot. Go ahead. Next slide. And then we do outside events. This is during the Balloon Fest a couple of years back. This is in New Mexico. We have the hot air balloons that fly up. We'll be out there and a good presence. Like I said, we're very community based. We want the community to know that we're not the bad guys. So, and this is a picture of the desert. And then anything else? You have any questions? Because that's the next slide. Thank you, Roger, for answering for me.
You're welcome. I guess one of the things that has struck me is, as you referred to, probably generally as we look at Border Patrol, we see it as an enforcement, but more oftentimes in the traditional forms of law enforcement, locally and things that we can see. But your role as a humanitarian agency that you've talked about, it's expressed very intentionally. What do you see as the difference for Border Patrol in their training and getting this idea of across being a humanitarian agency? How does that differentiate that from other local law enforcements and roles that they play in our community?
Well, with the Border Patrol, we're the first line of defense, right? If you want to look at it, so we encounter them first. So most of the time, if they're injured, what do? We grant aid. If they're very hungry, we take them in, we feed them, and then we have doctors here now on staff at every station because of the fact that we're getting more of an influx. We don't, and they feel sick. They can administer the doctors. We can't. The doctors can administer certain medications, Tylenol for the kids, and pain medicine, stuff like that. So we've grown because of this influx to do more of this for the people that come through. And it's not their fault that that they're coming through and they want to come to the United States. Why? Because the United States is great. We have certain things that they don't have over there. So, and they see that when they come through here because they're right there, we're hungry, sir. We're sick. Can you help us? That's what we do. We're the first line, and we're the first people that they see. So that's the first thing that was like, "Are you hurt? Oh, I have a." Then we have our EMTs, and then they'll take them to the hospital. That's what we do. That's how I see it. That's why I keep on saying we're like a humanitarian. We're the first line, the people that they actually see.
Mhm.
After that, then that's ICE, and when they get into the country, it's a whole different ballgame.
Could you
That
share
answer your
a
question,
little
Audrey?
bit? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Or was I off topic?
No,
You're
that
good.
was good.
Okay.
Can you share? Oh, go ahead, Nancy.
You spoke several times about the American Canal, and I just don't know where that is. What are you speaking about there?
Okay, so like they call it the American Canal. So for El Paso, especially in our area, since it's probably different where you guys are at and in Grand Forks sector, because El Paso we have a lot of farmlands. So you have the Rio Grande, and then you have the American Canal, which the American Canal is water from the Rio Grande that we split. So Mexico and El Paso, or I guess United States, have an agreement because Mexico has its own crops and El Paso has crops. We have pecans, we have different crops here, cotton, and a lot of little ranchers. So that American Canal splits the water from the Rio Grande and feeds water to the ranchers, our local ranchers. So that's why we have it. Yeah, you guys probably won't have one, but El Paso does.
And I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
We saw lots of different types of workers, the bike patrol and the helicopters and the ATVs and the horses. Are those forces, are they armed?
Yes, as law enforcement, we are always armed. We always will carry our service pistol. Right now, it's a Glock 19 or a Glock 47.
Mhm.
That like for the bike patrol, horse patrol as well, and ATVs they're different. They also can carry a long arm, which we have, or most of them are Colts and they're M4s, and they'll have long arm mounts on the back or the front of the ATV.
Mhm.
The air and marine, the air units, they also carry long arms as well. They have I believe they have their ARs, AR-14s, AR-15s. I'm sorry, and they have also um, you have to be specially trained with this rifle, but it's for like sea interdictions. It's a long arm so if they have to you know I guess uh, I'm trying to say what's the right word. Immobilize a boat. They would go after the engine with this rifle,
Mhm.
so that the drugs that they're trying to smuggle through, depending on what ocean or what river. It's different. But over here in El Paso, they don't carry that long arm. But I have friends in different parts, like San Diego, the Pacific Ocean, that I know, like they showed me the rifle because I'm a gun enthusiast. I was like, "Well, that's a nice rifle." So yes, we do carry firearms at all times.
And what is the protocol that enables, or what a person that is fleeing? Um, does that enable you to use a firearm, or how does that work?
It just depends the situation. It's also on the agent's discretion. If for example, the person has a firearm that he's running away from us, where is he running? It was a felony conducted in the presence of the agent, and he's running. There's a lot of different things that happen, but when it comes down to is the agent's discretion.
Yeah.
In our training, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you want to say something?
I was just wondering, could you describe maybe a little bit about what the scene looks like now on the border? There's a lot of news that goes out there, and maybe just talk about what that's looking like from your all's perspective at this point in time.
Okay, yeah. You know what? You want to talk about it? I know you just got back from the line. Okay, so Agent Q, Quintero, sorry. I'm so used to calling him as my real good friend. He just got back from the line. He could give you that perspective of what we're seeing about the influx, if you want to talk real quick.
All right, I know I talk to a lot of people in public, but this makes me more nervous. I don't know why. But so I've been on the line for a year now since I've actually talked to you guys. What we've seen a lot is a lot of people turning themselves in, and the majority of it is children. Okay, we're talking about 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, anybody below 18 years old. They're turning themselves in. And the reason for that is because they have family members here up in the United States. And they know once they come in, we're going to connect them to their parents. And when I mean us or we, it means like the federal government, right? So that's most of the activity that we see. Now, with that comes the smugglers take advantage of the situation. So say there's a group of like, say, 8, we call them UACs or unaccompanied children. They know we're busy with them. We know we have to do paperwork on the field, just or put bracelets so the processing team know how to process them. They know we're busy with that. So with the smuggling organization, what they do is that they push a group that or narcotics to another side where there's no agents available to respond. And that's what we've seen most. That's the activity that we have been seeing more of. Okay. And it's nonstop. It's 24/7, and that's just in this station. Okay. I don't know what really is happening in other stations. Okay.
So the demographics have changed a little bit, seeing an increase in unaccompanied children. And have the demographics from places where people have originated from changed, or has that stayed the same?
It stayed the same. It's basically the Northern Triangle.
Okay.
We have seen a little bit of the influx of Turkey.
Okay. Okay. And then can you talk a little bit about, I don't know if this group has heard about like Title 42 and Title 8 and what's happening with who's being processed in and who's waiting at this point.
It changes. Everything changes daily. Okay. So right now, whoever has family groups, okay, with obviously like say mother, child, and children are being Title 42 sent back to Mexico. The people that are not are the unaccompanied minors. Okay, for safety reasons, also we cannot turn them back to say why it is unaccompanied.
I have a question that you touched on. I'm trying to see what is going on at the border and what might relate up here in our Grand Forks region, and that's with the human smuggling. First is, do you think that human smuggling is present up in the Grand Forks area? And and my hunch is, yeah. But it is also, what are the signs of human smuggling? And because there's a cost because I know there's a cost to that person. It isn't just smuggling, it's also in many cases leads to slavery, human slavery. Yeah.
Well, we do see the Border Patrol. There's a difference between human smuggling and human trafficking. Okay. Human smuggling is basically hiding people in a vehicle and sending them north, okay, or guiding somebody from the border to the United States. And trafficking is basically coercing people to work for them after smuggling them into an organization, either by coercion or any threats to them or to their families, etc. So when we don't deal with that. That's more ICE, and who else deals with mostly ICE. We basically deal with the human smuggling, not the human trafficking. Okay. Remember, the job of the Border Patrol is basically we're an enforcement agency which we detect, deter, and apprehend anything that comes in through the ports of entry. Now, for some reason, our agents detect something odd about something that's going to lead up to human trafficking, where there's coercion or there's a trend, which I know it's very vague. Then we refer that case to ICE.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers your question. We don't really deal much with human trafficking.
Well, that answers a question in which locally there's more conversation and awareness around human trafficking than human smuggling, because my hunch is that's within the first 50, 60 miles of the border.
Right.
Where that happens, right? And then they're dropped off and dispersed from there.
Exactly.
Okay.
I have a question about children and those who have still not been reunited with their families. I understand there's like 2,000 children. Do you interact with any of those children? Does the U.S. border try to locate families, or is that not your position?
That is ICE.
That's nice.
That's
ICE.
ICE.
That's ICE and other organizations that is their main goal to link the children to their family members. Okay. Well, the Border Patrol is not a detention facility. It's like I said, it's not. We hold to find out who they are, and then we release to whoever comes next, and that is to the ICE agency. Okay.
So when you get children coming through the border, then where exactly do they go? Do they go with these other children who are being detained, or do they go
Yes.
straight to families?
We have a central processing center that building has been modified for children and families, and we have different organizations, including ICE, that take care of them, feed them, nurses on staff, doctors on stand, and after they're there for a maximum of 24 hours, I believe, then they are transferred to these other organizations that help them link them to their families up north.
Thank you.
Is there a counterpart in Mexico to Border Patrol? In other words, is there a Mexico Border Patrol agency?
No.
No, okay. It's basically, is it the federales that you would work with the federal police, that you would, if they were going to work with anything, would be on that side?
Yeah, we don't when you say work, it's we don't coordinate anything with them. The only thing that we would coordinate something with Mexican authorities is if there's an incident that happens in the south and we're able to see something happening, that either being a smuggling attempt or any violent event that happens, we call them and we let them know what's happening. Okay, and we share information with them, but not all the information, because as you all know, Mexico is corrupt. Okay, so
Right.
so how much do we trust them with our information? They could sell that really easy. I mean, so we're limited to of how we work with Mexico. Okay, but it's basically if we see something going on, or if they could help us deter something, we will call them. So on the actual fence itself, or on the actual border itself, there's we call them BSI markers.
Yeah, BSI.
Border. There's markers with numbers along the border. So instead of me telling a federale, hey, respond to some street that I don't even know, right? I would tell them border marker number 242, which is displayed on both sides of the border, and they know already where to respond.
Okay.
Okay.
And is that different than up at the northern border with Canada? Is there more of a working relationship with them?
I wouldn't know, but I guarantee that it's a better system.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we've gotten people that come across families, and they're not wearing shoes, they're not wearing sometimes any clothing. Their money is gone, their phones are gone, and we ask them what happened. They're crying. So what happened? What happened to all your belongings? And they're like, well, the federales took them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So who do you trust, right? I mean, they're supposed to be the police of their state. I don't know. So that's why,
Yeah.
Just got to be careful.
Wow.
Any more questions?
Oh, Nancy has one. There we go.
I know that sometimes they say the numbers of those attempting to come across are quite inflated because people will attempt to come across and be apprehended and sent back, adults, and then they will try again and again. And so they end up being counted each time that they attempt. When those folks are attempting, is there any effort to identify them so that you can say, you know, this person, this is their third try this month, to get that count more accurate, or is that not a consideration?
No, whenever we apprehend or detain anyone, they do get enrolled. They get biographical information from them. They get it depending if if an adult, they get a photo taken of them, and it is tracked. But if we send them back and they come back, it's another attempt. So it's a count because they come with a different group. So yeah, so those numbers are the numbers that we provide.
Sure.
So yeah, if for example, we send you back, you come back with another group of 10, you're part of that 10 count. So you come back another day, 2 days later. Yeah, so it's those numbers are our numbers. But they are tracked. So they'll know when they come and how many times they've made an attempt.
I have a question for Kari. I'm very familiar with Title 42. Could you remind me about Title 8?
Okay, I'm going to need y'all's help because my understanding is that Title 8 is the title that's allowing like Venezuelans and Brazilians and folks who are not from the Northern Triangle be allowed to be paroled into the U.S. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. For instance, and like I said, it changes day per day, but like Haitians, we're getting another, I forgot to mention Haitians, they're also Title 8. Okay. I don't know why. I can tell you the laws, why they're being Title 8, but as of right now, they're all being Title 8, and that was like, I think like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, no, that once you said that, it reminded me about, I'm familiar with especially the South Americans that are being treated differently than those from Central America.
Yeah, the Title 42 is folks waiting in Mexico at this point. Title 8 is paroled into the US, and then it sounds like the demographics are changing
Every day. Yeah, and now it was once that if they had Mexican residency, they were then 42, even though they were Haitian or they had a Mexican address. So, and then that changed again. So see, it just changes every day. So
it's an evolving door.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you all so much for getting on and staying on. It looks like we don't have any more questions. So unless y'all have any last words, we can turn it back over to Marcia, maybe.
I just want to thank you guys. Yeah, I want to thank you because you've really clarified the role and the work of the and mission of the Border Patrol. And just appreciate the time, and appreciate, this is an important PSA today that you've done to be able to help us to be able to speak clearly to others about, what's happening and the care that's being taken on the border.
And it's so important to know that you are humanitarian.
Yes.
That's so important because you hear just the opposite.
Yeah,
yes.
no, definitely. And then we have people, and Kerry knows because we did this in public, but we have people coming over and telling me, saying, please take care of people. And to me, I'll be honest with you guys, that's insulting because we're human beings ourselves. Okay, so when we see children, that's priority to me. And as to my partner, he has got kids, so I have kids. We see our kids in them. So whatever good we can do with what we have, we'll do it. Some people come over, think we're monsters, and it's all the way the media portrays it. We're human beings, we're not robots. So
Yes.
it's a big difference.
Well, thank you so much for your service and what you're doing. I know it's hard work. Kari, thank you so much for arranging this for us. We really appreciate it. And it's good to see you again. Everybody stay safe.
Likewise. Thank you, Kari.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Okay, that was interesting. Did everybody learn something? Because I certainly did.
I did.
Yeah, it's great. We'll go ahead with the rest of our meeting. I'm hoping that each of you received a copy of our minutes of the last meeting in April. So if you want to kind of peruse them, if you haven't, and if there are any changes, just let me know, please. We're very informal, so if you have anything that is not correct that you see, please let me know.
They were great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Nancy, would you
Yes.
like to introduce Gabino? Did he leave?
I think he jumped off, but I was very glad to have him here. He is a longtime advocate of immigration and very familiar with immigration, especially in the Southern California area. He is the director of our Justice and Peace Committee for Missionaries of the Precious Blood. And they are, just so that you know, they are an order of priests, brothers, and lay companions. And one of their particular ministries is ministry to those who live on the margins of society. And our committee's areas include immigration, LGBTQ concerns, death penalty, a number of issues. But immigration is very high on our list, and we always try to gather more information where we can. So that was very much appreciated. And when I receive the recording, I'm going to forward it to the members of that committee. So thank you for allowing Gabino to attend. Shall I
Thank
go
you,
ahead and
Bridget,
speak?
for recording that for Nancy.
Uh-huh. Shall I tell just a little bit about Webster? I don't have much.
Please.
Our Webster English classes, we are closed for this summer. We have hired a new director who is Julie Zerfus. And she has been one of our instructors and knows the system well. And we all were kind of shaking in our boots about who we might get, because Betty Weimar has been so good and has been the director for 30 years. So we feel Julie will be great. And Betty has arranged for some hours in order to stay on for a little bit to help her get established.
How do you spell Julie's last name?
Zirfas.
S-A-S or F-A-S?
F.
F.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
And we also have done some additional hiring because we're hoping to come back gangbusters. We've been on such low numbers here during the pandemic year, so we're hoping for a really great year. I and possibly others, we are planning to go and recruit at Triumph Foods, probably in July. We were unable to do that, and that's a good source of students for us. And it's possible we'll go to some other plants. But anyway, we really are planning to come back big. If you have someone who is interested in English classes, we, especially during the pandemic, we have gotten away from the walk-in system. And what we prefer to do is to have someone call the office and provide a name and a good cell phone number for a text, so that we can text them a time to come in for pre-testing, which is required in our program. So I'm going to give you that number right now, but it's the same as Webster Learning Center. And so it's 816-671-4020. And my advice would be to have someone call in as soon as possible, because if we really get loads of people, they will be ranked based on when they called in. And probably the last opportunity would be something like August 21st, because after that, we will be testing those whose names we have in order to begin classes in September. Folks that come to us, they do need to be 17 or older. And if they were in high school, they need to have withdrawn from high school. We do occasionally get young, new immigrant, young people who are 17 or older who have been here for hopefully a very short time that just simply never enrolled in our public schools. And those people are okay too, but they must be 17 or older. And that's about it, unless anybody has a question.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions, statements for Nancy? Working hard, Nancy. But you're doing a good thing.
Good.
Anyone else? Okay, Donna can join us. Bridget, would you have anything, any knowledge about Donna and how she's doing? You're
We're still doing she's still got a lot of DACA paperwork that she's working on. She is in the process of renewing some licensure and actually increasing her licensure, so that should be good. We submitted all the paperwork and I signed off on that. It's been almost 2 weeks ago. So she said they've been taking quite a little bit of time. So we're hoping to hear back from them by mid-July-ish. So that'll be good. I think that's about 6 weeks. So, or 8 weeks, I'm sorry. We sent it back the middle of May. So she's hoping to hear from them by the middle of July. If she doesn't, she'll contact them. But she's still doing a lot of DACA paperwork, beginning to see an uptick in just immigrants needing paperwork done. I don't remember. I think she's at 17 right now, or was at 17 for May. So that's actually significantly more than she was doing last year. So we're on our way back there. So that's a good thing.
I'm going to share just a couple of things, and one in relation to Donna, if that's okay. I was trying to assist this young man, and I had some questions, and I contacted Donna, who gave me a very good piece of advice, because this young man needed to find a lawyer to fill out an application for asylum. And I have a lawyer that I have worked with, and Donna has a lawyer that she had worked with. So I gave this young man both of those lawyer contacts. And then I saw him again, and he was very downhearted. And he said the lawyer told him there was absolutely no chance for him to get asylum. So I kind of called Donna to kind of rehash this over. And she said, did he use your lawyer or my lawyer? And I said, no, he used a different lawyer. And she said, well, be aware, he may have contacted a person or other in the South End who says they're a lawyer. And so I think that's something for everybody to be aware of. You know, if you're trying to assist somebody, make sure that they are going to a real immigration lawyer. But anyway, I certainly appreciated Donna's help on that. And the young man that I was trying to assist, he came in as an unaccompanied minor. But unaccompanied minors, once they turn 18, they are just straight out illegal, you know, undocumented folks. Plus, you know, the US government has got all their information. Now, I doubt that somebody's going to come running to St. Joe and arrest this one little young man I'm trying to assist, but he's in a very precarious position.
So the thing that you have to watch out for is in Mexico, notary publics are considered legal people, not necessarily attorneys, although some of them are considered that. So we've been fighting this fight for several years, that there is one in the South Side who speaks Spanish And a lot of people go to this person because they believe that they're talking to an attorney. And so Donna's really, I mean, she's had quite a few situations where she's had to clean up paperwork that they've sent in. And it's a real mess. And so she's done the best that she could do to help people get some things straightened out. But if they don't think that she's going to be able to help them, we've even several years ago, we even thought about having Donna become a notary public, and she said she didn't really want to do that because that perpetuates that whole ideal that the notary public is an attorney. And she said, I just really don't want to do that. I don't want to give people that impression. I'd rather work to let them know this is not the way it is here. So she's done a lot of cleanup work. So also in October, we're having the Human Rights Commission here at InterServe, and I sent out an invitation to you all. Donna is putting together a panel of people to talk about immigrants and what problems they encounter. So if you would like to come, you're more than welcome to. That will not, most likely will not be broadcast via Zoom, unless we get a lot of people wanting to come. But we're really anticipating having enough room for everybody downstairs. So I don't think we'll have more than 40 people. And that's how many we can comfortably seat and still socially distance everyone. So, and we'll have on the fans and everything. So it should be safe. Even if we have even if our uptick continues, we should be able to accommodate everybody pretty safely. So if you want to come, that'd be a great time to get out. And by October, I'm hoping things are calmed down a little bit. So
would it be possible to request that you send out that invitation closer to?
Yes, I will send it out again. I've
Just-
got it on my calendar to send out in September. So
Okay, very good. Roger and Margaret, you might remember several years ago, we did have an immigration attorney who came to speak with us at one of our meetings. He was a member of a two attorney office that originated in Kansas City, but he would come to St. Joe periodically. And I haven't heard anything since then. I haven't seen any billboards advertising him anymore. I don't even know if he's available.
There used to be one in the South Side,
Yeah.
and that went down like in December, maybe January. It hasn't been that long ago that they took it down. So
Really?
I don't know if he's still around or not, but I would guess that he was probably the one that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's down.
That's too bad. Not here anymore. Diane?
No, hi, thank you.
Hi.
I have a question for Bridget, and then I just have a follow-up I wanted to mention. And we took an offering for at-risk children just a couple weeks ago. And I was just wondering if there are, I know she doesn't represent children, but adults, but if their families, because I know a couple years ago we gathered games. Donna, I asked what she could use and she said family games. So we gave a lot of games, but I wondered if a cash donation for children, families who have children, quote, at risk might be a possible thing to do.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. And I did want to follow up on at the last meeting, I said I was going to follow on a pastor who represents another group of immigrant rights, for immigrant rights, and it's called AIRR, Advocates for Immigrant Rights and Reconciliation in Kansas City, and it's really a very active group. So and his name is Rick Behrens, Behrens. I thought he would be a good replacement for Lori, but I've emailed him 3 times at 2 different addresses and even called his church, and they said, I know the church is still going, but it said that the number wasn't right. So I'm still trying to follow up on that, and I apologize that I haven't been able to get a hold of it, but I think it would be a good contact and partnership for us in Kansas City. So I'll keep working.
Good. Thanks. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, our next meeting is set for, if we're doing this every other month, is set for Thursday, August the 12th at 10 a.m. And Roger, if Kari or you could find another speaker to speak with us, I think it's really interesting since we can't do anything else at this point that I can think of unless someone else has a suggestion. I think it's great. We're learning each time we hear somebody, and I think that's important to us. So,
well, we could see if we can go across into Juarez, and there's a couple of them. Is Dr. Mendoza runs a clinic, free clinic over there. Has for a long time has done that and caring for a lot of people in those areas. And then the other is Estella, who works in just changing and working with people in that neighborhood, in the neighborhoods over there. And she's established a library. She's got an after-school program she's done for a long time. Interesting is one of her major supporters is the Diocese out of Kansas City. So, so there's that connection. I can talk with Kari, and when I see her, we'll talk and see if there is that possibility. We could Zoom with them.
that would be great. Thank you. And just let me know, but thank you.
Uh-huh.
Travel safely when you do travel. Okay.
Yeah.
Bridget, thank you so much for always
Welcome.
sharing our link and providing it for us. Cheryl, thank you for always interacting with each other through email and sending out all of our notices. That helps a lot. It's good to see all of you. So everyone, please stay safe, stay well. And if not, if I don't see you before, see you in August. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye-bye.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Bye.